finance bill ilitolewa, mbona mnaenda maandamano? Sit down. And I know I'm risking an abduction or a gunshot wound. We don't know which one will suffice for them this time. But in the meantime, Caribbean customer, knowledge for free, knowledge for free. Let's start with something that is very close to memory. His last interview. Now, this is something we all figured out together. This person will use any tactic, mind game, to get out of his own problems. Now, when Latif asked him about the opulence and the flaunting of money by his advisors and people close to him, what was the response, guys? Hey, this man said, you know, that is why we need to have a conversation. Because personally, this is why I have put education on the forefront. Tell me how people flaunting money that is from our government gets in contact with education. Explain. I will be waiting. That is evidence of lack of accountability by our president, let alone the government in itself. Another thing that was addressed is the lack of jobs for youth. And he said, you know, I've been leaving the country a lot and people are asking why I'm leaving the country. He said, it's because I've been going outside to look for jobs. That is the worst thing you could do to a country that is developing. And I will explain why. First of all, what kind of labor is he exporting? I have seen cleaners, I have seen house help and very mediocre type jobs. Keep in mind, it's the youth that are being exported for labor. And this same youth, ni millennial na Gen Z, the most educated generation of this country. This is a developing country. Who do we need most? The educated generation. But what do you want to do with that? Export. Unashika, I really do not know what to blame this on, ignorance or stupidity. I don't know. Our lawmakers are the ones getting paid the most in the entire world. The MCA's salary was supposed to be added in the beginning of this month, 1st July effective. Yet because, you know, we did not pass the finance bill, we will have to borrow 1 trillion. Meanwhile, 300 and something million is lost in some agency in the government because of a typing error. And because I sense the boredom on the other side of the screen, let me summarize this. We need to reduce the salaries of the civil servants because really, you're not saving a life, you're not nurturing a child, and you're definitely not protecting the country. Reduce the spending habits of the government offices because really, entertainment 80 million? Oh, they withdrew the finance bill. My bad. Reduce the taxes to allow manufacturing, businesses to run, and other companies to come and invest in this country. And that in itself will create job opportunities. Where is the loci? Where is the algebra? And of course, reduce corruption. But there is where they draw the line. They just want to borrow and steal and borrow and overtax. We are telling the government, this is the problem and here is the solution. Do you know what they do? Where is the solution?
Taxpayers' money. Let's talk about your Jezebeli quiz of inviting foreign prophets to State House and funding foreign prophets who are disgraced even in the countries that they come from using taxpayers' money. Exactly the way Jezebel used to fund the prophets of Baal and Asherah. It is the same exact script. Let's talk about women like you who are described in the book of Amos 4, women of Samaria who would abuse, neglect the poor, and ask for more wine at the expense of the poor. Isn't that what you're doing when you're asking for funding for your office? By the way, when you took a private jet to go and invite Benny Hinn to come and pray for problems that you have contributed towards, did you consider that the cost of doing that could alleviate the problems in the village that you come from? In your own backyard, people die of snake bites because antivenom is not readily available. Dispensaries are not readily available. There is teacher shortage in that area. Food and water is a problem. Poor infrastructures in schools is a problem. But you have the funds to give these foreign prophets. You have the funds for a private jet. And by the way, your office is unconstitutional. But you didn't know because you're not even familiar with the font with which our constitution is written in. And all this thing about your office is doing faith diplomacy. For us, faith diplomacy is euphemism for hogwash and high-class nonsense. It means nothing. Faith diplomacy does not affect the common mwananchi. They have bigger problems to think about, like Linda Mama. By the way, Kenya stayed for 24 years without a first lady. And in those 24 years, Maziwa ya Nyayo was available in schools for kids. That should tell you that Moi was more motherly than you.
As an avid overthinker, I always say, look at the bigger picture, okay? These people who are telling us, oh, wait till 2027 so that you can vote the president out. You people really think that Ruto will kubali kutoka kwa hiyo kiti? Fair and square. They have already started voter suppression by charging IDs 1,000 shillings. And that's why I'm asking Huduma Center, when will the IDs come out? IDs already taking 6 months, 7 months, 8 months kutoka. You think these are people who want you to vote in 2027? IDs aside, this is the same person who unleashed snipers, military, NIS, on kids who are going to mandamanas with Ubers, iPhones and KFCs over a silly finance bill. Now, what of an election? No wonder you people accept bare minimum.
Now, there are three people who always will tell the truth. There's our children, drunkards, and people whose mouths slip. So, if you look at the video of the U.S. ambassador to Kenya, as she is giving a speech, her mouth slips where she describes Kenya to be a company and not a country. Listen.
Also say I think this is a recognition of the importance of Africa to the United States. Kenya is the country that's being honored, but it is I think it's a recognition that Africa is a very, very important continent, certainly to the world, but particularly to America in the next 20 years. Why?
So, now that you've listened, and all of you who have done some history know that Kenya and Uganda were actually what was in the East Africa called the Imperial British East African Company, never the country. And this was a commercial association which was founded to develop Africa trades in the areas and controlled by the British Empire. Basically meaning from 1888, the British people have been, to date, have been collecting taxes for their countries. So as long as we in Africa do not listen to such mistakes that they make, because it is actually not a mistake, this is how they see us behind closed doors. We are being considered and being dealt with behind closed doors as company, continued company. We fought for our independence, but what we got was an administrative independence and never economic independence. I always say that Africa must start to understand, must start to analyze what is white supremacy, what is the geopolitics of white privilege, what is the global white privilege, and why is it relevant to the continent. The minute that you start to focus on this, it is going to be much easier for you to see exactly why is it important for the West to ensure that the presidents that are being installed or that are being selected or the CEOs that they are selecting must be CEOs that are going to be loyal to them and not to us. And their loyalty they can buy in the form of giving them the monies that these people need and want. 3/4 of the countries in Africa are companies, except, of course, Burkina Faso, who has managed to detangle itself from the hands of the devil. So as long as we continue to do chicken politics and not focus on trying to find out how is it that these people have us under their grip, we are going to remain in the same status quo. We are so busy looking at which tribe, which countries. We are not even bothered to see which of those countries are at war and why are they at war. We wait for them to explain, the oppressor to tell us what to see, what to think, and what to hear. The minute that we cease to do that, that is the minute that we too are going to liberate ourselves.
I want to dare some of these people who sit and imagine that they can form government through laptops and phones. Please go down to your village and go look for votes so that you can understand what it takes for somebody to become a deputy president. And I want to ask Generation Z na millennia, mtoto yote na kijana yote ya 2009 kuendelea mbele kwa debe mtakuwa mkiweka kura yenu. Hii porojo na narrative na fake news inarushwa social media everywhere. Ask people who have been there what happened and how did we arrive at where we are. Hiyo sheria inaitwa ya cyber bullying bill na hii ya kuchunga watu from bullying and harassment. Mheshimiwa Mukami, you were in parliament and I remember Rigathi Gachagua then as a member of parliament for Rigathi for Madera tukipigania hiyo bill. We did not know that the same characters who caused a wedge between Emeritus President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Deputy President then, William Samoei Ruto, would transit with us to come bring chaos in the House of Kenya Kwanza. And so we are calling you out, get yourself busy, famu ni kujituma, turudi kwa uwanja tukatafute kura.
Kenya, I do, I love you.
Thank you so much, you're the best. Thank you.
Kenya and Gukanayo. Stay strong.
Kenya and Gukanayo.
And we love you.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much.
Kenya, we love you. Angukanayo.
All right, Kenyans, we love you. Angukanayo.
Angukanayo. Oh my God, there's even a little dance. It goes like this.
Are you got a little dance? You want to say it?
Angukanayo.
We love you, Kenya.
Angukanayo.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Kenya, we love you. Angukanayo.
Yes.
Kenya, we love you. Angukanayo.
Angukanayo. Oh my God.
Angukanayo.
Yeah, it's like this motto. We even have a little dance that we do with it. Can we do that? Angukanayo. Okay, let's say you do it like you go down. Angukanayo. Angukanayo. Angukanayo.
Kenya, we love you. And we're coming to see you.
We're coming to see you, Kenya.
We love you, Kenya.
We love you too.
We love her too. Thanks for sharing with the world. Kenya,
Kenya, we love you. Angukanayo. Angukanayo.
It's actually a little dance too.
Angukanayo. Angukanayo. Angukanayo.
Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Hey Kenya, this is David Allen Greer, and I want to say Angukanayo.
Yes.
Be strong, baby.
Kenya, just know that we love you. Loved visiting. It's a fabulous country. Wishing you all the best. Agukanaya.
Angukanayo.
Kenya, take care of yourself, get better, be loved and loved. Angukanayo.
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 Nyambi Nyambi, and I want to say we love you, Kenya, and Angukanayo.
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 Angukanayo.